So if you guys are watching, we're just kind of adding some special effects to the newscast that's being filmed here. We have dancing hearts up on the steps of the plaza. And we also have a bubble maker that's blowing bubbles into their shot.
I'd say this is the new face of Anonymous right here.
The new face of Anonymous. Dancing hearts.
Nah, heart.
Totally new creative way of trolling.
Is everyone a student here? Are there any non-students?
It's a student group.
I think that's an incriminating question I refuse to answer. Potentially incriminating.
Oh, you know what? There are some are asleep.
And there are some members of Occupy Open that are here showing their
really?
solidarity.
Okay,
Yes.
so it's a mix, like
So there are like
handful.
a handful of people that are showing their solidarity with
But
Occupy.
mostly students.
So practically all students, yeah.
This is so much fun.
Yeah,
It's actually quite fun.
yeah.
It makes my Friday a little bit more bearable.
Is it Friday already?
It is Friday.
I did sleep, so it's Friday.
And it's the 10th. The month's already like half over.
I know the mushroom festival, but I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, February's extra short this year, ain't it?
Okay.
Uh,
Get the mushroom. We can
see?
bring it back.
I told you you're famous.
We built a big cookie machine mushroom.
It's my chat on my
No, we built it
stream
new.
right
It's
now.
now. Yeah, that's our replacement for the source.
Today's a 3-month
Man Jose, yes, that was chair guy. His name is Ian, and he is not on
Today
Twitter.
was the 3-month anniversary when the police and students.
The 9th,
clash.
which was yesterday technically, because we're technically in today right now.
What's today? The 10th?
Today is the 10th.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
So that's why what we started. We started because came up on the 3-month anniversary. Yeah.
For the live? Okay.
Nothing like streamers streaming the mainstream media.
This is meta.
At least 2 dozen students are here at Straw Plaza, plus a handful of Occupy protesters.
We'll bring you the story before they do. I'm told to tell you you're badass. I told you you're famous. People know who you are. Because of your chair.
I hope it's not just because of the chair, but I was handed a really great prop, you know? I know it was a great advantage, and I tried to use it as such. That thing served me well for sitting and
It
for
protected you
lecturing
from the projectiles.
and for shielding.
Yeah,
It's not
I
as
saw
if
that.
it's not as if I went into that line thinking, oh, you know, I'm gonna advance toward the cops while they fire rubber bullets and tear gas at me. It's just I just happened to be holding it.
Right. And you didn't necessarily heckle them. You were educating them as well.
I enjoyed
You were
talking
saying
to
some
police
intelligent
officers
things.
and,
That was you? I saw that.
Yeah, I was kind of
Yeah.
around. I was around for most of the day, and one of the things I enjoyed doing, other than wearing the chair as a hat, was just sitting it down with a line of cops. Especially if it's just me and them, it's perfect because it's not. It's sort of a public performance for Occupy, but it's kind of. I feel like it's much more important to speak as an individual to administration at all levels, including police officers, and just a good chance to do so. And there were a lot of moments before things got really ugly that there was a lot of time for dialogue, and
Yeah.
so that's kind of one of the things I walked away feeling sad about on the more broad scale with Occupy Oakland is there's not enough for that conversation. You know, sometimes it just ends up in this projectile war and then this fuck the police thing, and I'm not saying there's very valid critiques and there's lots of techniques, but I don't support the violent thing, and I don't really like the sort of repetitive aggression thing. I don't think it solves anything.
What I thought was pretty awesome too is like every time I'd seen you pull your chair up, have a seat, and be like speaking intelligently to them, it's like, how could they attack somebody peacefully sitting in a chair, calmly speaking to them in a not very non-threatening manner? I thought that was pretty awesome. It was very symbolic, I think, of what we're trying to prove with the movement.
Yeah, I mean, I really, from the beginning, I've always thought, I'm walking out onto this stage, that's what the Occupy thing is, and
Yeah.
Without sounding too preachy, and hopefully with a bit of humility, I like to think that I am setting an example of sorts about how I believe that we should communicate with each other
Yeah.
and with our government.
I thought it was pretty awesome, and a lot of people that I exchanged with on Twitter think that it was pretty awesome too. You're in a lot of shots in the media too, like a lot of the front lines right there at the museum with the shields and everything, and then you're right there with the chair, just right along with everybody with the shields. It was pretty awesome.
Well, I had a great time being there with everybody and just watching what happened.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm excited to have more dialogue and have more critical discussion about what happened in the past and where we can go from here.
Did you end up getting hit with anything?
Not really. I had a tear gas canister explode, like, you know, within
Yeah.
feet of my head. I had one hand over my ears, one hand on the video camera. And
Oh, that's right, because you were trying to handle the camera and the chair and keep from getting hit at the same time. I remember seeing that on the video that I watched.
so I was in the front line for the first round of projectiles, and then I moved my chair up to the left side of the line,
Yeah.
like right next to the cops, and then I just sat there and watched them throw tear gas grenades pretty much over my head.
Yeah.
They recognized that I wasn't, you know, trying to attack them.
Yeah.
But then when they finally broke the line and attacked that cart that was on the east side of 12th there, I guess. Maybe it's Oak on that side. That was when the cops finally like kind of came at me, and
Yeah.
you know, there was some light batoning. I jumped out of the way and, you know, checked the officer by name on camera.
Yeah.
And you know, it wasn't a serious offense, but I am offended.
Yeah. Did you happen to go to jail that night? If
did
you want
not.
to say? No. Awesome.
No, I was kettled.
You were
On the
kettled.
Broadway intersection, but I was one of the ones who was able to walk away, and I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
You know, I went to jail on October 25th, and that, although I don't think they should have arrested people, you know, it was clear at that moment that I decided to be arrested. You know, they surrounded the camp with 500 people, and they said, you know, if you want to leave, you can. And there was a lot of good people in the middle there, including my tent that I've been, you know, enjoying, and
Yeah.
you know, wanted to defend, not physically, but more symbolically. And so I stayed there, and you know, spent the day in jail, and it was okay. I don't like the idea, but it was certainly an experience to be had.
Yeah.
And but I'm not necessarily interested in repeating it. I don't think that clashes with police and going and how many times you've been in jail is any kind of metric for, you know,
Definitely.
your dedication as an activist. And
It's,
you know,
it's not like an activist status or something like, oh, how many times have you been in jail?
But I think the Oakland PD really made a big mistake by arresting so many people the other night. It was showing that they were willing to criminalize really marching in the street. You know, you can't really say that any of the people out there, you know, trapped in front of YMCA on Broadway were doing anything except for marching. You know,
Yeah.
It could have been people just, you know, walking up, you know, on their way from restaurants or something. I mean,
Yeah.
that's not to say that they weren't mostly protesters. That's not to say that the police hadn't been giving warnings, you know, throughout the day, you know, condemning us. But just because someone says it 10 times or 20 times that what you're doing is wrong doesn't make it so.
Right.
You know, you have to draw the line and sometimes say, you know, I've thought about my position clearly, and I still stand by it. I'm sorry, even if you're saying that majority rule is that the entire state of California, that's what, you know, who they say they're authorized by to do what they do. I don't buy it.
Yeah.
You know, Oakland PD, I have respect for you, but you know, I think that a lot of your tactics are way off, and you really need to think about your strategy and engage in much more diplomacy, and that's the way to get through to the 99% of the peaceful people in the protests. And instead, what you're doing is, you know, agitating the 1% of the violent people, and then making everyone look bad, including yourselves. So Oakland PD, please, let's be peaceful. Let's create some dialogue. You know, Occupy is here to stay. I mean, it's not even like the idea that Occupy was over. Like, that whole thing is just seems so silly to me, because Occupy was never even one thing. It was never one place. It was never one group of people. Occupy is just an umbrella, a container. You know, really a reason to just kind of stand up and say whatever it is that you feel needs to be said. You know, and people, I think, were very effective in creating, you know, new public spaces for that dialogue.
Yeah.
And so I was and continue to be really excited about it. And I think that there's real resonance with large groups of people. So, you know, I think it was a fairly petty attempt, probably by our national government, to crush it. And I think that's still happening. But the most important thing we can do is just be wise with our words, you know, take responsibility for our actions, and use media, both independent and mainstream, in effective ways. And so, you know, that's why I'm glad to be talking to you today.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you got in front of the camera. I appreciate that. Like I said, there's a lot of people that I converse with that know who you are from that day with the chair. Like that's like a symbolic part of the day, and a lot of the feeds that we got and a lot of the pictures that we got. And a lot of people are like, who's that guy with the chair? Like, does anybody know who that is? So when I seen you, I was like, I gotta find out if this is him, because it looks like him. It sounds like him, but...
It's me.
Yeah, awesome. And it was...
you guys.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Everybody's saying you rock and you're badass and all that stuff. So
yeah, that was totally
awesome.
Cool. I mean, seriously, so many people have been all like,
do you want to go on? I'll swing over to you if you do. I don't want to catch you if you don't. Well, I mean, you're just talking. People are listening, so... No, I mean, you can stay right here.
I mean, what do people want to know? I did want to come over and tell you that the people with the dancing hearts are the new heart block.
Heart block.
We're moving on beyond having just one kind of block now. So now we can have heart block. We can have cat block. Someone suggested we do village people block so we could do the YMCA properly. I mean,
that was actually my
I
first
want to be
thought.
Part of donut block, honestly.
Donut block, exactly.
That was my first thought when someone announced the YMCA is open for business. That's what I heard. And the cops were charging me with batons, and I was at the very last person through the door of the YMCA. And I was proud to be in there. I've been a YMCA member, a YMCA aquatic fitness instructor. You know, I've been there. I respect YMCA, and I think they feel the same way about me. So I didn't have any problem at all walking through their door, using their back door to escape police brutality and a really unfair response. But my thought after that was, man, the best thing we could do is stage a very large, you know, street, hip hop oriented kind of YMCA song, you know?
Exactly.
We should just sing it. Be proud, you know? We
do a YMCA march.
We did not break into YMCA.
Oh my God, we should totally do a YMCA march. That would be excellent.
YMCA, you know, perhaps inadvertently, but very symbolically provided support for people. And that's kind of what they do anyway.
Yeah,
and
that's what they're part of the community
to do. When we go to
do.
credit unions, whenever we're on the bank marches, you know, we're protesting against Bank of America, Wells Fargo, but when we go by the credit unions, I always yell and cheer and applaud all the people inside so they know we love them. We're supporting them. We could do the same thing with the YMCA. A big thank you.
Yeah, that would be bad.
I think a lot of people get the wrong idea about occupiers' intentions, because 99% of the occupiers really are just like peaceful, loving people who are, you know, family, you know, have strong families, you know, have lots of community ties and like strong ethics and even, you know, morals and everything. I mean, you know, these are people who really represent some of the best Americans.
Yeah.
And I think that we have to show that more in public, though, because people get the wrong idea when they see too many projectiles being thrown at cops, when they see too much cursing, when they see too much sort of hedonistic behavior in the camps. I mean, I think it's
when they see flags being burned.
Yeah. I did not support you know, unnecessary use of force against police, and I did not support the flag burning.
Yeah.
I really think that sends the wrong message, and I think it's okay to be, you know, critical of America to the end. Yeah. I mean, personally, I have a lot of respect for the structures we built, and I think we have a lot of potential, and so I'm here to stay. You know, I'm an American, I'm proud, I love America. I think that we have the opportunity to really express the freedom that has been given to us.
Right.
But I can see other people taking the other perspective, and perhaps I've even been there myself, where I'm just like, man, this place, you know, they say it's so great, but it's so horrible sometimes, you know? It just makes me want to scream, you know? It makes me want to, you know, break things, you know? And hopefully not hurt people, and hopefully not destroy symbols that actually have so much positive value. Yeah. You know, I think it's okay to express a large range of emotion. That should be, you know, really looked upon as an important part of this.
Yeah, but it's also good to do the more positive emotions too. I mean, for me, I occupy with my heart. I want to be able to show joy and love and dancing and glitter and that part of me too, because I'm angry, but I'm also, you know, I'm trying to enjoy it. The people of Occupy are my family, and I want to celebrate with them just like I would do with my own family.
Right.
You know, they're tight with me, and I want to show that love, and I want to show my love to the community too. It's like I grew up hearing so many bad things about Oakland, like a lot of people, even though my father grew up there, and my grandfather grew up there, so I'm actually kind of from it. But I honestly love Oakland now. I really do. And it's just like, yes, you know, and I'm learning to love a lot of things I never could. And
I want to say I love Oakland too. It's just been so good to me.
yeah, and I think
As
it's
much
so,
as it's also been so bad to me. Let's
Right,
not forget
yeah,
about that.
right.
right.
But it's
you
not
know,
Oakland that's been bad. It's certain people within
it's certain
Oakland.
people within Oakland.
Right,
So,
but we're always generalized when we talk about, you know,
Yeah.
a group
Yeah.
as being a real thing. It's not, right? It's a collection of people, of
Right.
businesses,
Right.
of, you know, of structures and such. But so I think it's okay to talk about Oakland as being both really positive and really negative. And it's
Right.
important, you know. I think
Yeah.
there's a tendency for the balance to get a little bit off in representing it, and sometimes
That's
that
true.
happens on all levels. But you know, I've had a really great experience here, and I've had a real sense of humor even through the moments that I think were a little bit scary
Yeah.
and a little bit telling. So all in all, I've kind of walked away just being, you know, fascinated and, you know, engaged, inspired. You know,
Yeah.
really excited to be in Oakland as an activist, as a musician, and as an academic.
Awesome. I'm gonna walk around. Unless
Huh?
you're done.
I just wanted to say I'm just really glad we're going to have a love march because I want to show my love for Oakland.
Yeah.
I want to walk through the streets screaming, I love you, Oakland, because that's totally where I am. So, there you go. I sound like such a hippie.
No, you don't. You sound like somebody with a big heart. Nothing wrong with that.
What's wrong with being a hippie?
Well,
I don't
yeah.
know when that term even became a negative one.
Well, it's because my parents were hippies. I don't want to be my parents. But other than
But
that, there's
UC
probably not
Berkeley, I
so
mean, we're
much.
talking, this is Savio Steps. I'm not even calling him a hippie necessarily, but I'm saying that this place has so much positive legacy, and that word, at some point, I think, you know, even if it was used in a derogatory way then, I think has a lot of power. I mean, hippies are people that, you know, love nature, that love communal living, that are like interested in, you know, connecting with the world's traditions. They're people who are thinking experimentally, who are willing to go deep with each other in terms of emotions and, you know, philosophies. So I think we should reclaim the word hippie. I'm a hippie.
Right.
I love hippies.
I've never had a problem with hippies personally. Not one. All right, guys, so I'm going to go ahead and archive this stream and put my fingers in a warm place in my pockets so that they can get toasty, and so hopefully I'll be able to hold a camera if I need to anytime soon. And so yeah, if anything else happens here, I will definitely come back live. Once again, this is OccupyCAL. We got about 6 tents here. Did a little brief conversation with Ian, who is the guy from J28 with the chair that kept going to the police lines and peacefully speaking to the police. So if you guys see footage from J28, especially from the standoff on Oak Street at the museum, pretty much every footage I've seen this man that he has like a burgundy chair, and you'll see him using it as a shield, and he'll have a camera, and he was throughout the day he continually came to the police lines with the chair and was speaking truth and peaceful words, intelligent words to the police line. And he's just like, I didn't get the opportunity to speak to him on J28. I haven't seen him anywhere since J28, but he's actually here occupying at OccupyCAL. He actually has a tent here on the steps of Sproul Hall, along with 5 other tents. So just so you guys know, that's 6 tents here at Sproul Hall and OccupyCAL. I think we're approaching 5 o'clock, possibly. We haven't seen any cops since 4:30. They've been pretty lenient on us. They haven't come over to say anything since midnight, but we're definitely in violation of some rules by having an encampment here. We've already been warned of that. So it's just a matter of time before UCPD decides to come in and clear us out. So we've stuck through the night. Some of us will probably be leaving. Those of us that came from Occupy Oakland that have been here throughout the night, helping keep watch while some of the actual campers get some sleep. I stayed here throughout the night to be able to stream in case anything happened. 4 o'clock, the mainstream media came in and they did their reports and took some interviews. And they did leave their tripods over here, so I'm pretty sure that they'll be planning to come back over. And while they were doing their broadcasting or recording or whatever it is that they're doing here, we had some performers up here on the steps with the hearts. So we had some dancing hearts and we had some bubbles, and we put on a little show for them while they were recording their stories. Just to kind of prove once again to the mainstream media that we are peaceful out here. I mean, we're not here, we don't have batons, we don't have riot gear. We have hearts, we have bubbles, and we have lots of chalk art on the plaza. So, I mean, if they really want to come in here and be crazy with 6 tents and less than 20 people at the camp, that would be really unfortunate on their behalf. But there's a genuine consensus here throughout everybody that we don't think it's going to be crazy. Our guess is that prior to classes starting this morning, we'll probably see some cops come through with a warning. If not a warning, they'll probably come in and get up here on the steps and observe while the camp is cleaned up and picked up and dispersed. So, I mean, hopefully that's how it goes down. Hopefully there's no excessive force or excessive representation by UCPD. I really hope that they don't try to bring in Berkeley PD. Those guys are vicious. We saw that during the downtown Occupy Berkeley raid back in December, where lots of people were abused by the cops and wrongfully arrested. So we'll see how it happens. If anything happens, I definitely will be back live as long as I'm here. I'm kind of hoping that I can stay at least until classes begin and see that this camp is undisturbed through that period of time. So keep the channels up for yourselves, spread the word, get some support out here to OccupyCAL. Help them hold their camp. We need more people. We need people that are able to stay throughout the night so these campers can sleep. That way they can be awake during the day to spread their message to students. That's basically all I've got for you guys. Tune in later when I come back live. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for all your support. I love you all. And if you haven't slept yet and you're going to be going to sleep soon, have a great sleep. If you're just waking up to start your day, have a great day.